Shiny object syndrome. I'm finally trending. No, I'm not. This is going to be about trend dissection today, which kind of leads on the behavior observation that we had just talked about. If you didn't see that, I'll put a link here so that you can go and watch that video. And what I want to instill today in terms of creative principles is to always be an investigator. And a creative never takes anything at face value because we know there's always a deeper story. There's always an alternative story. We have imaginations. There's endless amounts of stories that you can have. So we question and we observe. Sometimes you got to put it out there in the form of a question and then see what happens. We do these little experiments, and that's what creatives do naturally. And you can do it too. And it's going to help you learn about yourself. And it's going to help you make better decisions. So let's go back to the shiny object syndrome. It's something I see a lot out there in social media, and maybe you think that you have it too. And when I first heard that, I was like, wow, do I have that? And then I heard it more and more and more. And it's like, oh my gosh, when I heard people talk about what shiny object syndrome is, about how you jump from program to program to program and you keep trying different things and none of it ever seems to work because you never really stick with it. And you just go to the next glittery thing. Like cat toys. That's how I always thought of it before I heard shiny object syndrome. It's like, oh, it's like cat toys. Let me see if I can dingle your direction here. And so I was like, maybe that is me, because I do that. I do that a lot. I jump around on things frequently. Not like in my job necessarily, because if I'm paid to do something, I can stick with things. That's not a problem. So that's why I started questioning, do I really have shiny object syndrome? So I started observing myself. So going back to observing your behaviors, because that's where you're going to find the real story. Most of us just look at the surface and, you hear it and you're like, oh, wow, yeah, I do that. I do exactly what you're saying. So therefore I must have it, right? But when you dig deeper and you question and then you observe and probe, that's when you start to find out there's more to the story. And it's probably not that you have shiny object syndrome. Maybe it is. For some of you, maybe it is. But for some of you, it probably isn't. If you're like me, what I've discovered is that I'm not chasing things. I'm not the cat looking to chase the cat toy. That is not what I'm about. It is that sometimes I work on something and I get all of the information from it. I get all of the learnings from it. I get all the benefits, all the knowledge that I look to get from it. And then I'm like, okay, all right, got it. Let me go on to the next one. And because creatives like to build on things, they compound. So you learn from one, then you learn from two, and you learn from three, and you combine it with one, and now you've got four, and now you can combine it with 5 and 2, and then before you know it, they all start to come together. And that's how I have lived most of my life. I didn't know it. I thought I was scattered because people would say, oh, you're just so creative. And all these polite things to tell me that I was disorganized, but it really wasn't. It's not that I was like, a cat looking everywhere to find something. It was that, no, I know I can get a little something from this and a little something from that. But had I not questioned and observed and probed, I wouldn't have known that. And so that's the creative principle that I want you to think about and how you can use it in your life. Don't accept things at surface level, at face value. Always dig deeper. Always ask more questions. And sometimes what I like to think about in my mind as I'm going through it for myself, I think about, I wonder if this statement was incorrect. I have shiny object syndrome. I wonder if it was incorrect, why would someone think that I was? Why would someone think that I'm disorganized when I know I'm very much organized? But from their point of view, they're seeing it that way. Why would they think that? How would it be true and how is it not true? And it's really just the series of asking more questions and opening up your imagination and wondering and getting curious about how it could be different. And it's just that simple.